First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer. How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Ganji, host of Chair Talk. I'm going to show you a video, guys, that's coming from KRQE News. The video is released footage from the Metropolitan Detention Center in which an officer, new to the job, he gets attacked by 4 inmates. Thank God he's able to escape. But the video has a whole host of concerns. That's why I wanted to post it. I wanted to get your opinion on it. But when you see this video, especially those with experience that are in this community, this video is going to blow your mind. It really is. So just going to give you a little bit of a summary before I show you guys the video so you know what you guys are getting ready to watch. You have a rookie CO who is enforcing the rules. And that's what we tell rookies. You know, be by the book at the very beginning. Be by the book. Set that standard high. And you have to. There's no ifs and buts about it. You know, you haven't developed discretion yet, so you really got to go by that book. That book really does become a foundation for you to maneuver. And then eventually, as time goes, you know, you're able to develop some discretion and then work the unit a little bit differently. But at the very beginning, you're strictly by that book. Strictly. The unit itself, the inmates are out. A lot of inmates are out, actually. I would like to see another officer on the floor with this rookie CO. And not because they're just a rookie, but because you should have more presence on the floor. But that's not the case. This rookie CO is by themselves. It looks like the unit is not being controlled. Looks like there's a little bit of animosity towards this officer, especially where there's one quick scene, and they don't really go into it that much, but you'll see that there's an inmate that pushed the officer. I would like to have seen the officer's reaction to that, but it's quick. I don't know if the officer called code or anything. It just looks like the officer got pushed on his way up to check on what he thought was a fight on the higher tier. So I don't know if the officer took the push and then walked off, or what his reaction to that. But that would immediately be obviously a code. That inmate needs to be handled. But with that said, I would like to hope that if you don't have another officer backing that officer on the floor, which is minimal, you should have that there's someone like an eye in the sky watching this unit. And the moment that push happened, you would have the code already called by the higher up, like the person watching the camera. You know, I got your back. But again, I don't know. I don't know how the facility is laid out. All I have is the video that's in front of me. So if you guys are from this facility, I would love to know if, you know, how the code was called here. But what's up with that push at the very beginning that seems to have been ignored? It looks like it was ignored by the reporter as well. I would have dove into that a little more, because once that inmate had pushed me at the bottom level, I would have never made it to the upper tier. I would have called the code at the bottom. Screw if the inmates are fighting upstairs. We have an issue right here between me and this other inmate. And again, the officer is trying to respond to what they feel is a fight. When they get to the next floor, the officer goes to see what's going on. And that's when he starts getting assaulted by one inmate. He's able to fend that inmate off. Then the other inmates come, and then he's able to get away from them. But look at the radio. The radios that are attached to the cord. Look how dangerous that could be, because the inmates were able to get a hold of that and pull the officer in. So I want us to take a look at that as well. What's your thoughts on radios with cords? And just watch this video. But again, there's a few concerns. I don't want to go too crazy into it. I want you guys to give me what your thoughts are. But guys, this is happening nationally, nationwide. That's why I had to show this video. This isn't just at MDC. This is pretty much anywhere in the country right now. So here's the video. Love to have your thoughts.
Good evening. An MDC officer who thought he was going to check on a fight walked into a fight for his life.
Video shows that corrections officer fending off 4 inmates who were trying to beat him up and take his radio to keep him from calling for help. News 13's Chris McKee has that video. Chris?
Dina, just this all happened in an MDC cell block around Thanksgiving. Union leaders tell us this corrections officer could have been killed, but managed to escape okay.
He did what he had to do to stay alive.
He was the only guard in a pod full of inmates and managed to escape the grasp of 4 guys hell-bent on trying to keep him down.
I have no doubt if they got a hold of him, they would have probably killed him.
That's MDC Union President Joseph Truhecki's take on what Corrections Officer Edward Downing escaped from in November, a fistfight and near beatdown that's left 6 inmates facing charges.
In this case, they were unhappy because he was new and he was doing his job to the letter, and they were unhappy.
Officer Downing was the supervisor inside an MDC pod in November when 2 inmates asked the guard to open a cell door to give another inmate some soup. After letting them in, Downing left his post to go check out what he thought was a fight inside that cell.
When he arrived at the cell, another inmate attacked him.
MDC says Jose Estrada threw that first punch, then tried to yank the officer's radio from his hip to keep him from calling for help.
Several inmates came from behind him to also attack him.
The corrections officer then had to run the gauntlet to get through that group of inmates, all of whom were throwing punches.
They wanted to assault an officer that day.
Officer Downing managed to escape with just some minor injuries, including some bruising to his face. Truhecki hopes the guys responsible are held accountable.
We have to hold these people to task, and when they know they're not going to be held accountable, it emboldens them to act in those ways.
The union believes that the inmates likely staged that fight in order to lure the officer up to that cell. All of the inmates charged are still inside MDC.
All right, Chris, thank you. The officer who was attacked in that pod was running it by himself per normal MDC operations. MDC says it is reviewing the incident and if any changes should be made because of that fight.